I ended up flying into the back of a dude's truck at over 100 miles an hour, and I went flying over his truck and then off into the woods. My name's Jason. December 10th, 2015, I was in a motorcycle wreck caused of drinking and drugs. I remember getting out of work that day and being on my motorcycle. I don't know if it was the firefighters or the EMS guy. I gave my dad's number to them so they could call somebody because they didn't know who I was. My dad was in Michigan and he got a call from the chaplain at the hospital at 2 o'clock in the morning seeing if he could describe anything. And he's like, well, I know he's got his daughter's name. And they're like, well, you guys are going to have to come quick because we don't know if he's going to make it. I had 2 brain bleeds, shattered this eye, ripped the tip of my nose off, fractured this hip, shattered this whole entire foot. I got a plate and 12 screws going up this way, and I got 2 lag bolts going in from the foot into the talus. In this one, the original foot, the whole ankle was shattered and they had a big metal X fix on it. I don't know if it was like on the ride to the hospital or on the operating table. I don't remember, but I remember there being like a bright light and you couldn't see any corners, and it was a male figure voice asking me if I was ready. I told him hell no, because I was wanting to go get all fucked up on the motorcycle and raise hell like I always did. He said he would let me come back if I would give something up. I was an alcoholic and I quit that day. I was just an idiot. I lived my life like an idiot, and that's why it was so easy. For the first time in my life, I took responsibility for myself, and that's why it's made this exciting. You would be a freaking idiot if you did something this to yourself and went back to doing the same shit. I couldn't imagine if I went back to drinking. I couldn't imagine. I didn't lose my leg till 19 months after the wreck, and they wanted me to see a foot and ankle specialist. Well, the girl over here at Michigan Ortho, she was like 6 months out. Everybody was 6 months out of trying to see a patient. Well, I needed to get it done. But I was in the parking lot, and she didn't want to see me because she was months out, and she was like the only foot and ankle specialist in Flint. So while I was sitting in the car, I seen the back of the building, Prosthetics. So I'm like, hell yeah. So I walked in there, and he's like, what the heck are you guys doing back here? But he brought me up front and walked me step to step. And I mean, it's been such a, I don't want to say easy, but it's been awesome.
Hi, I'm Nate Capa from Bremer Prosthetics. I'm a certified prosthetist. And the last few days we've had Jason Minzey in town. He was here to have a socket replacement for his prosthesis. Jason was a patient before who moved out of the area. Since leaving, he's had some changes to the way that his prosthesis has been fitting because his leg has changed a little bit. So on day 1 when Jason came in, we did a full evaluation. We got back up to speed on how things have been going for him, kind of what changes have occurred. We took a cast of his leg and then we expedited a test socket. So we made a prototype of his prosthesis for that day. I'm taking circumferences at different levels here. And what that helps us to do is kind of track what the limb volume is. We can use all 4 of those circumferences I just took to kind of compare them to the previous measurements and then see what changes there are, what physiological changes have happened. Which obviously our expectation is that his limb has shrunk down, 1 from using it so much and 2 just from the atrophy that happens after the amputation. And that all goes kind of hand in hand with him saying that his biggest problems are pressure that's up around his knee and pressure behind the knee. There's been a lot of material added to the bottom of the socket to help take up some space. The biggest difference that I saw right off the bat was that a lot of the swelling and the soft tissue down here below the knee or below the end of the limb has kind of reduced. So his limb is actually almost a full inch shorter than it was when we cast for this one.
Hi, my name is Jared Thane. I am a certified prosthetic technician here at Bremer Prosthetic Design. I am responsible for the work we did for Jason Minzey while he was in town for a week. Nate was able to get a cast and make a very nice mold of his limb that we were able to build a prototype test socket, which is made out of certain plastics that we use for that process. We shape them down into the fit for the patient and set it up into alignment that allows him to have appropriate gait patterns and comfort.
On the second day, we did a final evaluation, really just double checked that the socket fit was real good, that we made a couple of real small refinements to it, things that he had noticed over the course of the week that were more nuisances than real problems, but we might as well make it as good as possible because small problems now will become big problems at some point.
Everything went super well for him. We only had minor adjustments to the test socket. We were able to get another mold of that test socket to fabricate the definitive carbon fiber socket, which he'll wear long term. The socket is poured in the alignment that was good for his gait and fit, and then we transfer that to the mold and we're able to again laminate with resins and carbon fibers and fiberglasses and different fabrics to create the strength of the prosthesis, and then we are able to lock it back in the alignment that the test socket was in so we don't lose anything, and then we polish it all up, trim it out, and give him a nice final product to wear for the next several years hopefully.
On day 3, the final day, finished everything up, and today he got his prosthesis. We reevaluated, made sure everything felt good to him, made sure everything was secure, and he wore it home today. Since he's been here, we've taken a cast, done some test socket fittings. He's been able to wear the test socket for about a week or so, including golfing and doing some things outside of the office.
For anybody who's going through an amputation or having their limb cut off, you would be an idiot these days to know that your life is over. But I don't know what it is to lose both legs. I don't know what it is to lose an arm, but I mean, I know what it is to lose a limb, and there wasn't a doubt in my mind that my life was over. I mean, I never thought about it, never once crossed my mind, because there's so much information out there. There's so many people out there that, you know, are amputees. Like when you had the STAR program, we were going there. That one older lady, she was like in her 90s, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And she walked and did better shit than, you know, people that were my age or way younger than her. And when she had a prosthetic, you know, they didn't have all this information and technology. You know, everybody's like, oh, the technology and prosthetics come a long way. I mean, yes, the technology in making them, but this thing ain't nothing but a paperweight. I mean, this, no matter how cool this foot is, this foot's not going to work if I don't make it work.
You're the one making it
Yeah.
work. Right, exactly. That's a good point. Now he's going to stay in town for the next couple days just to make sure that that's all working, and plans to go home, and we'll stay in contact, and if he needs something before he goes, we'll make him another appointment.
Like they say, the one-stop chop shop. And he's been cool the whole entire time I've been here, and we've, you know, connected. And as soon as he sat down and talked to me, I think wasn't but a month, I think, that I had my leg chopped off, and then, you know, working with him. Never had any uncomfortable feeling, and like he always told me, he's like, when you wear your prosthetic, it should never ever hurt. So if it hurts, there's a problem with it, and we can make adjustments. And I've never been uncomfortable anything he's ever done. If I had something, he has no problem with me running to the office and making an adjustment when I needed all that stuff done. And then I'd ask him a question, you know, how can I work on this? And he'd give me something to do, and then I'd work on it. And it's been, you know, you got to put the work in too. I think what he does and how he works and the people he's got working with him is pretty cool. I don't think of him as being a prosthesis. He's just been awesome.